Hi guys! Welcome to Science Tech for Fun. This is Mr. Fassin Jr. and today I will be talking about A-level chemistry practical number 6, testing for alcohol, aldehyde, alkenes, and carboxylic acid. Okay, so this is the materials involved. Because there are several chemicals, you can find the whole list below in the description, but this practical is split in part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for each part of this practical, I will disclosure and speak about each material involved, okay? So the first thing to think is protection. So what's the PPE involved in this practical? We will need gloves and specs. Okay, so see you in the part 1. So this is the part 1, test for alcohol. So from this practical on, we will need gloves and specs, and this is the material involved. Okay, so filter paper and a tile, my test tube in the rack, 10 centimeters cubic measure cylinder, ethanol 99%, 100%, metallic sodium in paraffin, and forceps. Okay, so the first thing to do is to measure my ethanol. So I need 1 centimeter of ethanol, so I'll be measuring here. Just remember that when you're measuring something, the meniscus should be aligned with your eye line, and the bottle should be touching the line. And then I will transfer my ethanol for my test tube. Put it aside. Now my sodium. The sodium should be cut in very tiny pieces, the size of rice grain. And then I will place my piece of sodium here in the filter paper to absorb the excess of paraffin. Because if the paraffin is around the metal, the reaction won't happen properly. So I need to try to remove as much as I can of the paraffin here. So that's why the filter paper to absorb the excess. And then I will place my tiny piece here and I will see what is happening. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There it is. You can see that is slightly fizzing the metal, but different from when we add metals in water. This is not exothermic or not very exothermic, right? So I can see the fizz. The fizz is hydrogen being released, but I don't have fire involved, okay? So eventually this will be fizzing totally and the sodium will completely disappear. So this is my positive for alcohol. Sodium fizz, releasing hydrogen, but we don't have like changing in the temperature. So this is part 2. So this is the test for aldehyde. For this activity, we will need 2 test tubes in a rack, boiling water using Bunsen burner, so everything involved in Bunsen burner. I need a test tube clip, kettle with fresh boiled water, a beaker, 2 beakers actually, one boiling at the moment and the other one for this fresh boiled water. And then I need filling solution A and B, sodium carbonate solution, and propanal solution, and 2 measure cylinders, 10 centimeters. So the first thing I need to do is to prepare my filling solution. So for my filling solution, I will use filling solution 1, I will take 1 centimeter, transfer for my test tube. See, the color is slightly green. And then 1 centimeter of the solution 2. Can you see? This change color as soon as it mixes for a dark blue, beautiful color here. Okay? And I'll put this aside. In a clean test tube, I will take anti-bumping granules, and I will take 1 or 2 granules to avoid, when I place in my boiling water, this start to fizz very vigorously, so it's more controlled. And I'll put it aside, and I will take my sodium carbonate solution and a fresh measure cylinder, and I will measure 1 centimeter of sodium carbonate and place here. Then from my filling solution, I will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drops. Give it a whisk. You see, change color for lighter blue. And then I will measure 1 centimeter of propanal. Put it aside and place here. So this is my initial color, so I give a whisk. So this is my initial color. So then, with my fresh boiled water, I will top up half of my beaker with this and place inside my test tube with my solutions. I will keep it for about 2 minutes, and after 2 minutes I will transfer for my boiling water, and I will keep it here for a couple of minutes. Okay, can be between 2 to 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm just gonna demonstrate, not considering the time. So I will take this one and I will place it, and I will keep for 2 to 5 minutes. After 2 to 5 minutes, using my clip, I will remove, okay, and transfer for my rack again, and let it cool down. After cooling down, that's what I have. So look, this was my initial, and this is my final. So this reacts in the presence of aldehydes, saying that it's positive. Okay, initial, final. So this is part 3. So this is the test for alkenes. So for this part, we need test tube, 1 test tube and the rack. I need a bung that fits in the test tube, cyclohexene, bromine water, and 10 centimeters measure cylinder. So the first thing to do is measure my bromine water. So I need 1 centimeter of bromine water. Remember that bromine water is toxic, not as toxic as bromine, but still, so be careful for the smell. So don't smell it. Place it here. And now I will add 1-2 drops of cyclohexene, and I will bang it and give a good shake. Can you see? The color just disappeared. So that was the original color, and this is after the reaction. So I have a positive for alkene. That's part 4, testing for carboxylic acid. So again, we have test tube and rock. I will have sodium bicarbonate, solid, and I need a spatula. Ethanoic acid, 2 molar, and 10 centimeters measure cylinder. So the first thing to do is measure 2 centimeters of ethanoic acid. So just remember that when you're measuring something, the meniscus, the bottom of the meniscus, that should be touching the line. So then you have the precision. Then I will put a small spatula of sodium bicarbonate in my test tube. Close this up. And add my acid. Okay, so this is quite obvious, it's fizzing. Okay, so it's CO2 being released. So this is the test positive for carboxylic acid. So this is the final part, part 5. So this is the test for halogen alkene. So for this practical, we need test tube and rock. I need bromobutane, sodium hydroxide 2 molar, nitric acid, and silver nitrate, right? So the first part to do is, we need also lurk water and fresh boil water, and a thermometer and beaker. So the first thing to do is add 5 drops of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops of bromobutane in my test tube. Put it aside. Then I will measure 1 centimeter of sodium hydroxide 2 molar. Remember, sodium hydroxide 2 molar is very corrosive, so be careful. Add in here. And place in my lurk water. And then I will add my boiling water up. I reach 60 degrees. A little above 62 is ideal. And I will keep it there for a couple of minutes. So the temperature inside the test tube will reach 60 degrees. In the meantime, you can measure 2 centimeters of nitric acid to change the pH a little, acidify the solution. Liters, and 1 centimeters of silver nitrate. There it is. So the temperature should be fine now. I will add my nitric acid, give it a shake, and my silver nitrate. You can see that the solution that was completely colorless is going milky, pale milky. If you allow time enough here, you will have a solution pale white milk. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please give us a thumbs up. Please consider to subscribe, give us a comment, and see you next time.